There comes a moment in every person's life when dreaming is no longer enough. A moment when hope alone cannot move mountains, when wishing no longer pays the price of greatness. Because the truth, the raw, unfiltered truth is that you do not become what you dream to be. You become what you decide to be. Decision is the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. It is the bridge between thought and creation, between the invisible and the real. Every great man and woman who ever walked this earth stood on that line trembling, uncertain, afraid, and decided. They decided that failure would not define them. They decided that fear would not cage them. They decided that destiny was not written in the stars. It was carved by their own hands. Think of Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before the world saw light. He didn't dream the bulb into existence. He decided that it would exist, no matter how long it took, no matter how many nights he stumbled in darkness. Walt Disney laughed at, fired, bankrupt, decided to build worlds that only existed in his mind. Henry Ford mocked for believing in mass production, decided that motion would belong to the masses, not just the rich. Carnegie decided to rise from the dust of poverty to the throne of industry. And every one of them had one thing in common, a decision that refused to die. Dreams whisper, decisions command. Dreams float, decisions anchor. Dreams are possibilities. Decisions are declarations. A dream says, I wish. A decision says, I will. And when you say, I will, with conviction, the universe bends to listen. It reorganizes itself around your intent. It tests you, breaks you, shapes you, but it delivers. Because life does not give power to the dreamer. It gives power to the decider. The one who acts when the feeling fades, who moves when no applause is heard, who persists when no one is watching. That's where greatness begins, not in the glow of motivation, but in the quiet moment of commitment. Your future is being written by your dreams, but by your decisions. You can dream of freedom and still live in chains. You can dream of wealth and still think like a beggar. You can dream of happiness and still feed your misery. Until you decide that your old self will die here now and a new one will rise, you will remain where you are. Decision is not a thought. It's a covenant. It's a promise you make to yourself that no matter what happens, you will not go back. The world will call you foolish, too ambitious, unrealistic, and that's how you'll know you're on the right path. Because every visionary who ever lived was misunderstood in the beginning. They were ridiculed before they were revered. They were doubted before they were admired. And you too will walk through that fire. You will face rejection. You will fail, perhaps, many times. But if your decision is true, if it's carved in the bedrock of your being, no storm will move you. Because the power of a made-up mind is the most unstoppable force in existence. You don't need more motivation. You need more resolve. You don't need a new dream. You need a decision so strong that even when you fall to your knees, you'll rise again because quitting won't make sense anymore. You'll know you've truly decided when there's no plan B, when you burn the boats, destroy the exit routes, and commit fully to your path. That's when the magic begins. That's when clarity appears, when energy returns, when the mind starts creating paths where none exist. Because a committed mind is creative, resourceful, and magnetic. It draws answers, people, and opportunities like a compass finding true north. Look around you. Most people are drifting. They talk big, they dream big, but their actions are small, hesitant, half-hearted. They wait for the right time, the right mood, the right circumstance. But the masters, the ones who bend history, they decide first and let everything else catch up. They don't wait for certainty. They create it. They don't wait for the path. They build it brick by brick through faith and action. So ask yourself right now, what have you merely dreamed about but never truly decided to do? What vision have you carried for years but always postponed? How many mornings have you said, someday? That word someday has killed more dreams than failure ever did. Someday is the language of hesitation. Decision speaks in the language of now. Today, not tomorrow, is the only day that matters, because the man or woman you decide to be today will shape the life you wake up to tomorrow. So stop waiting, stop wishing, stop hoping the stars will align. They won't until you move. Decide and then act as though it's already done. That's how all great things are born, not from chance, but from choice. When you decide, the world tests you. It does not hand you rewards. It hands you resistance. Because decision without trial means nothing. You must be proved worthy of your desire. Every storm, every delay, every heartbreak, it's not punishment. It's proof. Proof that you are walking the path of transformation. Because the universe never wastes energy on the undecided. It only challenges those who have declared something powerful. When Edison failed for the 1,000th time, the world laughed. But he knew what most people never learn, that failure is not the opposite of success. It is its preparation. Each failure stripped away illusion, refined his method, strengthened his faith. He didn't question his worth when things fell apart. He questioned his approach, and then he tried again. And that's the difference between dreamers and deciders. Dreamers stop at disappointment. Deciders rise through it. You see, when you truly decide, you no longer measure your progress by comfort. You measure it by growth. Comfort is the coffin of potential. Growth is the price of greatness. Every person you admire, every success story you read hides a season of silence, struggle, and unseen effort. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won before he became president. He faced betrayal, defeat, humiliation. But he decided that he was born for something greater than despair. He kept his eyes fixed not on the pain of the moment, but the vision of the mission. And that's how destiny is built. Not by luck, but by endurance. Decision without discipline is a spark without fire. And discipline without faith is motion without direction. You need both the fuel of belief and the fire of consistency. Discipline is the sacred bridge between intention and manifestation. It is waking up when you don't feel like it. It is doing the work when no one is clapping. It is saying no to distractions so you can say yes to destiny. Every morning you rise, you are presented with two paths, the easy one and the meaningful one. The easy path feeds your comfort. The meaningful path feeds your character. One gives you momentary pleasure. The other gives you permanent power. And the one you choose daily becomes your life. You cannot wish your way to mastery. You cannot hope your way to greatness. You must decide, commit, and endure. Because life rewards the relentless. It bends only for those who refuse to break. There will be moments when your mind will whisper, "It's too much. Maybe I'm not meant for this." But that voice is not truth. It's fear dressed as logic. Your spirit knows better. It knows you were made for more. And when you silence the noise of doubt, even for a moment, you'll hear it, that inner command saying, "Keep going." That's the same voice that spoke to every great visionary before they changed the world. It spoke to Nelson Mandela in a prison cell. It spoke to Steve Jobs in a garage. It spoke to Oprah when the world told her she wasn't enough. And it will speak to you if you're willing to listen. But you must act, because decision without action is self-deception. It's a dream dressed in confidence, but dying in silence. Action transforms belief into reality. It turns invisible intention into visible results. Start where you are, with what you have. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Most people lose years preparing to begin. Winners begin and perfect along the way. You were not born to live in hesitation. You were not designed to crawl through life in fear of failure. You were built with the same divine energy that created every miracle in human history. That power is in you. It's not missing. It's dormant. And it awakens the moment you decide to use it. But make no mistake, decision is not comfort. Decision is battle. It's the war between who you were and who you're becoming. And the battlefield is your mind. Your thoughts will fight you. Your habits will fight you. Your environment will tempt you to return to the familiar. But remember this, the familiar is not your friend. It's your prison. You cannot build a new life using the tools of the old one. You cannot rise to greatness while clinging to mediocrity. To step into the new, you must be willing to let the old you die. That's why decision hurts. It demands sacrifice. It asks you to walk away from comfort, from approval, from the need to be understood. But in that surrender, you find something greater yourself. The version of you that doesn't flinch at difficulty, that doesn't negotiate with fear, that doesn't apologize for ambition. That's who you're becoming. And that version of you doesn't just dream, it creates. It doesn't wish, it works. It doesn't wait, it moves. Because once you decide who you are, life no longer happens to you, it happens through you. The world starts to mirror your certainty. Doors open, people appear, opportunities align, not by magic, but by magnetic alignment with your purpose. That's not philosophy, that's law. The law that Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie, and every master of success understood. Your mind is the master key. Whatever you hold in it with faith and decision must eventually take form. So guard it, train it, feed it with vision, not fear, with gratitude, not doubt. Because your mind does not care what you plant. It will grow whatever seed you give it. Plant weakness, reap regret. Plant strength, reap miracles. Plant weakness, reap regret. Plant strength, reap miracles.